And welcome everybody to the World of Ability Podcast Network. My name is Emily Gilmer and a podcast engineer here. And I'm excited to bring you another episode of the SB Bridge Show with Suzanne Plumley. What we do here every single week, every Tuesday at 11 o'clock a.m. Central. And so the show is kind of about like diagnosis Asperger's and what's so kind of connected with that. Love everybody to check out our social media and so on, but I'm going to pass over to Suzanne to kick us off here.
Hello, Emily. Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming back to the Aspie Bridge Show for the second of our 10-week series called 10 Steps to Dream Building. It's a program that was created by my mentor, Mary Morrissey, when I went to get my certification as a life coach. Yes, I can serve you as a life coach as well, but my beginning stage is to help all of you who are feeling stuck and not able to come out of the victimization of family shame and society shame, to realize that I'm here with you. I've walked your journey. I get it. I get it. So I have taken so many of these steps to have so many parts of my life come out and dreams to come out the way the program suggests. And I highly recommend that you really take these 10 weeks to really come up with a life you would love. And if you're not quite ready for that, that's okay. We can help you. But we'd love to have you start to think about, what kind of life would I love to have? And there are the 4 categories that Ope and I talked about: health and relationships, health and well being. That includes your autism, your well being, your mental health, your relationships with family, friends, spouses, partners, whatever you have, your vocation or what you'd like to do with your time. You have your time and money freedom, but I also have a 5th category in there. That's called your passions. And while we mostly deal with the 4 categories, I want you to think about those things that may not be related to your job or your career ideas, but they still bring you life. Perhaps you love to go see train stations, but you're really into the library and work at the library. So field trips to the train stations might be a passion of yours. You're allowed to have 5. And I say that because we want to build that whole network into your life of what you love to do. Now, I have a great friend this week. His name is Chris Barber. He and I got certified together, and he's been a dear friend ever since. 2019 is when we officially met. And I would love to have you enjoy when we discuss with you how to test your dream. Now, don't ask if you're worthy of your dream. Ask if your dream is worthy of you. So, without further ado, here's a video to kick it off for week 2 called Testing Your Dream. victimized by diagnosis, whether it be neurodivergent or specifically Asperger's. Help you to understand that there is help. Help like Chris, who are going to be in society saying, I get you. I'm here to help you. I'm not one of the people that's going to really make you feel badly about being here. I have your back. And that's what the Aspen Bridge is all about. If you can imagine a bunch of people lined up along the bridge saying, I'm here to help you. What is your need? Because every coach has their zone of expertise. And what I do is when you are confident enough to step up to the bridge and say, I would like help. I am the torchbearer. I've walked across this bridge. I've met wonderful people like Chris and all my other bridge builders who were here before him and coming after him to say that life on the other side of the bridge is not awful. It's not a place that rejects us as Aspen women. You can go over there and share your gifts. And I think a number of people will tell you that I have gone that far to do it, and I know you can too. So let me introduce my good friend Chris. We went to training together back in 2019, and we had a ball. So I know Chris can help you as a coach. Chris, would you like to tell us about yourself?
Thank you, Suzanne, and thank you for having me. And hello to everyone. First off, I just want to say how proud I am of you, Suzanne. For the person I was sitting next to at dinner in 2019, life looks really good, my friend. Life looks really good.
Thank you.
As Suzanne said, my name is Chris Barber, and I have a company called Transformation Arts. And I finally came to that Transformation Arts name because I do a number of different things, but they're all grounded in transformation. And the art is putting it all together.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's great. I'm very happy to have you here. It's been a joy. I went out and sought you out because I knew I wanted to have you on the podcast. So anyway, let's start off the 10 steps of dream building. That's all about realizing that we all have a past. We all have stories from our past. Whether they're happy or sad, they're back there. But the important thing is not to stay stuck there. Not to stay stuck in those stories as if they are going to be what your life is all about. As I said once before, your life is not dependent on your history. It's about your destiny. Chris, I think you might remember, what is the saying that we say? Your destiny is not dependent on your, well, go for it, Chris. I think you know what I'm trying to say here.
Well, yeah, you are not defined by your history.
That's right. That's right. I knew I said it a couple of weeks ago. It just wasn't coming to me this time. So anyway, when we are taking the 10 steps to dream building, it's realizing that we have the potential for a life we would love. And each week for the next 10 weeks, last week was number 1, this is number 2. Each week we're going to tell you about another step, which is a layer to building you to get you to where you want to be. Like I wanted to help all of you, Aspen women and neurodivergent women, go across this bridge with your gifts, knowing what your talents and your gifts of the world are, so you could go into society and share them. And I don't think that's going to get done from being a place of being stuck in who you are. And Chris and I are here to help you. Now, I hope you have your journals and pens, because I kind of would like you to have an idea about a goal you would like to do. Well, but it's not actually a goal, is it, Chris?
No.
We're going to get to that very shortly, aren't we? So what you're actually going to do is have an idea of what you would love to do. If you could wave a magic wand and say, this is what my life will look like in 3 years, that's what we're working toward. But we're only going to work on one part at a time. There are 4 quadrants. As we've talked about a number of times in the podcast, 4 quadrants, we ask you to kind of pick one where you have a dream. And Chris and I are going to go through the steps on how to test that dream. But first of all, Chris, can you help people understand what it means by everything is created twice?
Absolutely. Everything is created twice. The chair you're sitting in, the screen you're watching this on, the idea of Zoom, all of it, the clothes you have on. Everything was a thought before it was a thing. And that is the most important thing to know, to realize that everything was a thought before it was a thing.
Exactly. Now we can take our thoughts and we can just let them sit there and say, nice thought. Or we can start to take action steps toward them. And to work toward a dream, we have to actually act as if we already have that dream. Like I would like to move to California, which Chris didn't know about. So I can be with all my friends in California. But in order for me to get to California, I already have to pretend like I'm going to the Huntington Beach or the Newport Beach or sitting on the sand on the Pacific Ocean. I just have to get the feeling of having the sand in my toes and the salt air and everything. I can't say, well, I wonder what it's like to go to the Pacific Ocean. I wonder what it's like there. No, we have to act as if we're already there. We have to act like we're going to go to the Huntington Beach or go to the beaches down by Anaheim. Or where are you located, Chris?
I'm in San Diego. And
You're in San Diego. I had a feeling you were in that area. I thought that's where our dear friend Penny is located, so I knew you weren't too far from her. So, when we are working towards a dream, we act like it's already there. Our minds do not realize the difference between what's real and imagined. Chris, would you like to tackle that one?
If you can bring to mind a time when you were feeling, let's say, frightened. Oh, let me give you a better one. You misplaced your keys and you get into a panic, right? And then you find your keys and then you calm down. That has an energetic component to it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted that I gave you an example that's good, but if you can think of a time when you were feeling really sad or really scared, you can connect with that feeling energetically, physically. You can actually recreate that physical feeling in your body. So your mind does not, your body doesn't really know what's real and what's not real.
That's right. Oh gosh. And I'm sure there are some people who have probably had those instances where they worry ahead. It's like, this might happen. And they get nervous. And it's like, well, what if this happens? It's like, your body doesn't know it's not really happening. You're getting excited as if it might happen. And you get your heart beats a little faster and everything, but it's not actually happening. It's what your brain thinks is happening right now. And so, what I want you to think about, let's go to those quadrants and pick one of them. Well, in order to pretend like we're already living there, we start with a simple phrase. And the phrase is called, when you write it down in your journal, I am so happy and grateful now that I am living, and whatever the dream is. Now, what happens if we say, I would be happy and grateful if? That word if, oh my gosh, that can stop a dream short. What do you think, Chris? Have you ever had a dream if it happens?
Yes, absolutely. If can keep you on the other side of it not happening, not even letting you, that word if can not even keep you from not even letting yourself experience what that might feel like.
Mm-hmm. So, for clarification's sake, last week when Lilibet and I were talking about asking you to wonder, that's the first step of getting you unstuck. But it doesn't stop there. That's why she was number one. Chris is number two on the 10 steps, because now that we're getting you to think about what you would love, the wonder, now we're saying let's test it. So we start you out by writing a little thing about what you would love to do. I am so happy now and grateful now that I live in Santa Ana, California, in a tiny house community. Oh, my house is the perfect size for me. I just walk up and I can go right in. I have my beach shoes right there so I can walk to the beach every morning. Oh, you know how much I love walking with my dog along the beach, right, Chris?
Yeah.
So you can almost feel like it's happening, can't you? You can almost imagine me walking along the beach or walking into this little house and having a small dog that's walking beside me because I put it in present tense. I didn't say, I wonder if my dog would like to walk with me. I mean, I don't even have a dog yet, but I'm already imagining like I do have the dog that's walking beside me. I'm already walking to the beach, being in California. And that's what we need to help you get into, is get into the dream, not look at the dream. So there are 5 steps to test this. Would it make me come alive? Well, Chris, does it make me come alive?
I think we can all see that, right? You're pretty alive. Glowing, beaming.
Yeah, it's something I would do. All right, what's the next step there, Chris?
Would it require me to grow? And that, to me, means I'm going to have to step out of my current container, my current experience of life, to have something different.
Mm-hmm.
Have to be a bigger, not only growing in my awareness. When I say bigger, grow in my understanding, grow in my belief.
I would say that'd be right. I would say that that's what needs to happen. That, and also, you might be walking out of your comfort zone a little bit. Yeah. Have you ever walked out of your comfort zone, Chris?
A lot.
I think I have when I got onto this podcast back in January. Okay, this is what we're going to do. So that's what it means to walk out of your comfort zone. Try something and take the actual action steps to do it. Don't wonder about it. Just do it. And that means growing, because you're doing something you wouldn't have ordinarily thought you were able to do, and you'll surprise yourself. The third one is, does it align with my core values? Well, we all have 5 sets of rules. And one that's been coming up with me as being Aspie is applying for perhaps some extra financial assistance. Now, the interesting thing, I'm having trouble with that. Do you know why I might have trouble with that? Because it's asking me if I'm disabled. That goes against my core values. I know I'm different, but am I really disabled? Disabled means I can't do it. Well, I know I can do it. It might be out of my comfort zone, but I can do it. But the sheer idea of signing up for a benefit that says I'm disabled, that's something that goes against my core value. And I'm having a hard time, to the point that I probably won't even do it, because I don't see myself as living into the fact of owning that I'm disabled. What about you, Chris? Can you think of a core value that you might have had trouble with, where you were pursuing a dream, but there was some tension there?
one of my core values that's very important to me is integrity and being what I say, walking the walk and talking the talk. And as you know, because you have put yourself out there on a public platform. I've been doing that for just a little over 3 years every week. And you really need to, I can't say what I'm inviting people to take action in if I'm not taking action in that myself.
So, right.
Integrity is huge for me.
It is huge. Do you remember the Gandhi story? Where I told that a couple of weeks ago. That was so appropriate because I was talking about a topic, but I wasn't ready to talk about it yet. So it's kind of like I sent the mother and the child home until I could get ready to talk about it and get myself ready, because I didn't, like you, Chris, integrity, talking with conviction, and owning up to who we are. And for me, with the disabled, I don't own up to that. So for me to fill out a form that says I am, I'm not so sure it's gonna happen, because that's a core value. The next one, Chris, go for it.
Do I need help from a higher power? This is one of my favorite test questions. And as I have worked with many clients, this is one that gets people tripped up, because the word higher power or some God, spirit, universe, it's all the same thing. I mean, you and I know that.
Yes, we do.
Many different names. And whatever you need to feel comfortable with the word faith, and it's faith in the dream. Faith in the dream. Whatever that means for you.
I often tell my ladies that no matter what their spiritual beliefs are, I ask them, just like Mary asked us, can we make ourselves breathe?
Exactly.
Can we make ourselves have a heartbeat? So even if they don't yet believe in a higher power, because many of them are feeling that God is the one who made them the way they are. And that would be very understandable. If you're in a victim mindset, you might think that God chose you specially to be autistic. But no, he didn't choose you. He may have selected you specially to be different because you could handle it. But he is still in charge of your breathing and your heartbeat. Otherwise, you would not be here on earth. And that's what we call the higher power.
And you have been given this one unique gift in the package that you have to bring forth that gift, to channel that energy, that as only you can.
Yes, we each have a gift. In fact, I wrote that in my blog the other day. We all come to Earth with a special gift. And if you don't know it, I can help you find it in my enrichment programs that I teach, which are the second tier of my coaching program. But we won't talk about that right now. I'll tell you more about that another time. But yes, if you don't know your gift yet, we can help you explore what your gifts are. The last one, is there good in it for others? Well, you might think that my moving to California might not have any good in it for others. But imagine there's a bunch of women, they're sitting on the beach and they're upset. And I've gone to California because they won't get onto they won't get onto the computer, they won't get onto YouTube. How else would I serve them? So my dream of going to California and finding women that may be too afraid to come on and ask for help might see me in person. how would I reach them if I were here in Texas and they're in California? So yeah, my dream would have some good for them because I'm reaching women that would normally not even know that I exist to help them. What do you think, Chris?
I see that absolutely true. And then also being very aware of the good that is coming from you working with others, the good that those others will be generating. So it's not only good for who we're working with, but it's making a difference in their lives, which makes a difference in all of the people in their lives. It's
Right.
just an example of a rock in the water and the ripples of the water. You never know. I mean, you can see some of them, how far out they would go, or imagine how far some. You have no idea. No idea.
No. In fact, I met our mentor on a podcast. Didn't see her. This is an audio podcast. She had no idea how much she impacted me that day. Here she was, just advertising, marketing her book. Never knew that she was in California, ironically, and I'm in Texas. She never knew how much she impacted me just by getting on a podcast. But it was her dream to advertise her book to a bigger audience. That's having good in it for others. Chris, can you think of an example in your life where a dream might have good for others?
Becoming a transformational life coach has so much good in it for others. Becoming a hairdresser has so much good in it for others. And it took a while for me to see the impact that I'm having, and then to realize and become aware of the impact that I could have if I just expanded myself a little bit more.
Absolutely. And wow, what a difference you've made in my life.
You've made a huge difference in my life too, Suzanne.
It's wonderful to have friends like all of you. And it's made such a difference in my life. It's made me be able to come out of my shell, out of my victimhood, and out of my victimhood was not caused by my autism. It was caused by my story of the past. Here's an excellent example of don't let your destiny be determined by your past. Is if I were to say, oh, no, my past is just not going to do it, how would I ever grow to be here in front of all of you? How would I ever get there? It was because I had people on the other side of the bridge who were saying, we believe in you. And that's the important thing. That's why I want to help you go into the other side of the bridge, because there are people there. Well, those are the 5 steps. But before we finish out this podcast, there are a couple of things I would like to discuss, such as the difference between a dream and a goal. And Chris, this kind of takes me back to that higher power. I'd love to have you help people understand what is the difference between a dream and a goal.
Well, the difference between a dream and a goal is a goal, as an example that a friend of mine used. Well, here, I'm going to use my own example. The place I'm coming to you from now, right this minute, used to be full of stuff. And my goal was to get that cleaned out. Did I think about it? Yes, I dreamed about it. I dreamed about what it could be like, but it's not my dream because I knew exactly what had to be done to get this cleaned out. The dream is, how am I going to make a huge impact in the world through transformation?
Yeah. You can't just make people come up and talk to you, can you?
You cannot.
That is part of the dream. What happens to people around us being impacted by us and coming up to approach us? That's not something we can plan. That's not something that we can say, come here, I'm going to talk to you. No, it doesn't happen that way. And we would never force a single potential client to stand in front of us so we could talk to them. That's not the style of coaching we do. if you want to be helped by us, you need to come to us, because then we know you're ready. And that's a dream of yours, to say, you know what? I'm tired of being a victim. I'm tired of going to society rejected. And you, well, I didn't make you come to me. Decided that on your own. That was a dream, to go back into society. And can you walk across this bridge? Can you have a goal to walk to the other side of the bridge? Of course you can. But if you don't have a dream in your heart, what are you going to do on the other side of the bridge? You probably walk right back again. So anyway, that's the difference between a dream and a goal. There are things that you can do with your own set of hands and your own feet. But if it's not in your heart, if it's not something you want to accomplish, it's just a goal. It's just a goal. Okay. Yeah, by all means.
Your dream, you don't really have an idea how this is going to happen.
That's the key.
That's the biggest part.
The how.
Yeah.
The how.
And that's where having faith in something helping you. Either you're going to talk to somebody, you're going to hear something. I mean, something's going to come to you out of the blue, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So true. Who do you turn to that's your higher power? That's what we were talking about earlier. You didn't just fall from the sky onto earth. There's someone who brought you here. And that would be considered your higher power. They're the ones who gave you the heartbeat. They're the ones who gave you the breath. And yeah, I mean, even though we were all born from human mothers, whether or not they are our current mothers, we're still born, but that heartbeat had to keep going on both sides, in the womb and out in public. And if you know, our higher power has control of how long that heartbeat and that breath will occur in us. So just want to help you understand that higher, not spiritual. All right. Let us last part. There is no private good in a dream. It usually serves more than your mission. It goes back to the idea of saying that my going to California isn't just for me. Chris, what is the dream you're working on right now?
The dream I'm working on right now is I just got certified as a hypnotherapist, and I'm working on another certification as a light practitioner, which is bringing together all of everything I've learned, really, pretty much. It's kind of interesting, the course of study that I'm in now. But this is going to help people with PTSD, IBS, anything that is a discomfort, disorder, or disease. Create an expansion around, because I believe a lot of that is just constricted energy. And through meditation and visualization, which goes right into what you covered last week, which was designing your dream. And talked about this earlier in the podcast, about visualizing yourself in California. And when you were talking about that, walking your dog on the beach, I could feel the leash in your hand. I could feel the cool air on your face. To really visualize and put yourself in it, feel those things. Right now, I'm working on as I said, my certification, which will turn into a practice that I will be doing in a solo studio space, which means I'm going to be moving from the salon I'm in, and half of it's going to be my own salon part, and the other half is going to be a therapy center.
Wow. Look, you may find me in that very salon.
And that requires me to walk over a bridge. A bridge of belief. Bridge of belief.
Yes. Yes. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I had written a blog about asking the women if they were feeling comfortable about where they were living. Did they have the dream to move out, to move to where their heart is, or did they feel stuck right in the home where they were at? That's another dream. Yeah, you can stay stuck. You can do exactly what you're doing today. No one is going to make you dream. But is that the life you want to live? Do you want to live 90 years, 90 times? Or do you want to, do you want to live your life the same as if every day is the same? Or do you want to go on adventures where you live 90 different years of adventure and fun? That's up to you. And the people that you impact, it's the good that you share with others. If you go through life and you don't talk to anyone and you don't share your ideas, that is what we consider a private good. You may be having fun, you may be enjoying your life, but if you're not interacting, it's a private good. But if you tell people how you feel and it makes someone else feel good, that is sharing a life with someone else. Chris, do you have any final words for us today?
Don't live in fear. Don't let fear hold you back. You have a dream within you. We all do. And it's just on the other side of that bridge.
It absolutely is.
Yes, it's going to be scary.
Yeah.
I'm smiling as I'm saying, yes, it's going to be scary. Yes, it's be uncomfortable. But that is what happens when you start to break free of where you have been and the excitement you want to be.
Absolutely. Now, the whole point of the bridge, and I'm not sure Chris has gotten to know this yet, but I know he's starting to learn, is you're not walking the bridge by yourself. You're not. If you can walk up to me and say, I would love to talk to Chris. I would love to learn more about hypnotherapy, or I'd love to talk to Ope because I'd like to be a woman that can talk to my children about different parts of dream building. If you can come up to me and ask me for help, I have all these wonderful people who are ready to help you. And they're not going to walk you across the bridge and say, have a good life. No, the whole idea behind creating the bridge builders is so that I can start to sprinkle people around society that are going to understand you. Because they've gotten to understand me and they trust me and they validate me and they support me and I can support you too. So I don't want you to be afraid to approach me so that I can connect you with all these wonderful bridge builders. Next week, I have Dana joining us, and she's going to build a bigger deserving, which means right now you might be like, well, maybe I can have a dream. Maybe it will work. Maybe I can take the steps. No, she's going to help you say, I can take the steps. I will take the steps. And that's what building a bigger deserving is all about, is saying to yourself, I can do this. I may need help, but I can do this. So, Chris, I want to say thank you so much for coming to my Ashby Bridge. I am so pleased to have you here. Thank you. We may see you again in the near future to do another episode with me, but I'm very grateful for this time.
I'm grateful to you. Thank you so much for this time.
Thank you. All right, I will say goodbye to everyone and we'll talk soon. See you later. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate your having grace with technology. Chris is right now on a cruise, and we're very happy for him to be enjoying this part of his summer. And I do hope that as these podcasts come out, there are some that are going to just be smooth. Like life can flow and life will go on. Have you ever noticed that when you feel good about your life, you get a green light? But when there are bumpy parts in your life, you get red lights? Well, that's kind of what technology is. Sometimes it rolls smoothly and we have no issues with technology. Other weeks, there are a couple of those road bumps or pit deep divots in the road. And as long as you're willing to hang in there and just know that we're trying to get the content out to the best of our ability. Now, when I have my live clients, and it does flow a lot better, but you know what? Where would we be if we didn't have some of these special pre-recordings? Because what Chris told you was an absolute gem of getting your life from this side of the neurodivergent forest and taking it where you would love it to go. And with all the bridge builders that I have that are lining up and waiting for you to step up and ask for help, your life will go smoother. So I want to say thank you for now. I appreciate you coming to the Aspie Bridge. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday when I have Dana here, and we will help you begin to create that sense of deserving so you can approach me. So you feel confident to say, you know what? I want help. I'm tired of rehashing my story with different people. That's not helping me. Therapy may help you, but rehashing your story will never help you. But let's see what we can do if we can create a new life for you through a dream. Now, yeah, that's a couple of different goal steps. But if you take the step toward the bridge, we're going to get you the help you need so that you can go back into society and receive the confidence to do what you would love to do. So I want to say thank you this week, and I'll see you next week. Have a great day.